In life, surely every one of us has experienced moments when we gave our best effort, only to find the results far from what we had hoped for. You might have stood in front of a closed door, knocking until your hands were sore, yet it never opened. In those moments, disappointment floods your heart as you question why wholehearted effort still isn't enough to earn a deserving result. You call it failure, blame an unfair fate, and feel abandoned by life itself. But have you ever paused to reflect that perhaps everything has a deeper reason? Maybe that closed door wasn't meant to disappoint you, but to protect you from even greater harm lying behind it? Life doesn't operate according to our will. Sometimes, what we desperately long to enter isn't actually the path meant for us. The unopened doors, the missed opportunities, the people who leave, they could all be meaningful arrangements from the universe. Failure is not always an ending, but a sign of a new beginning. Perhaps life is quietly guiding us to a better, more suitable place we haven't yet realized. So instead of blaming fate, open your heart to receive the messages and lessons life is trying to deliver through every challenge. Part 1. The Things Not Meant for Us. On the vast journey of life, everyone has yearned for many things, held on to, burning dreams and given their all to achieve them. Yet not everything we desire is destined to be ours. Some paths may appear well-paved, alluring, and full of hope, but no matter how many times we try, we still cannot walk them. Some doors we try to open with all our strength and belief, but despite pouring our entire heart and effort, they remain tightly shut, cold, and silent. In those moments, we often blame ourselves for not being good enough or accuse life of being unfair. But have you ever considered that maybe these things aren't yours not because you lacked effort or ability, but simply because they were never meant to be? Some people enter our lives only to teach us a lesson, not to stay forever. Some jobs, no matter how much we love them, will never belong to us, not because we're incompetent, but because they aren't part of the path we need to take. Some relationships we fight to preserve, protect, and sacrifice for, yet they still fall apart. In those moments we suffer, we curse life. We wonder why we couldn't hold on to something we cherished so deeply. In truth, life is a series of mysterious arrangements by the universe, which we might not be capable of understanding in the moment. The universe has its own way of operating and always knows what is best for each person. Some things don't reach us because if they did, they would bring us far greater pain and loss in the future. The universe prevents us from stepping onto roads not meant for us, even if we desperately want to go down them, because it knows they would lead to more sorrow and failure than success. Instead of suffering and blaming fate or doubting yourself, try stopping for a moment and look back at what happened with a broader perspective. Perhaps the doors that closed today weren't meant to defeat you, but to shield you from worse ahead. Every effort in life carries meaning. Even when the result is not as expected, the effort itself is a great reward, for it helps you grow and become stronger. What is truly meant for you, no matter how late, no matter how many turns it takes, will eventually come. Conversely, what is not yours, no matter how hard you cling to it, will eventually leave, often leaving behind deep wounds and disappointments. That is the law of life and a priceless gift from the universe for those who know how to listen, accept, and let go. When you truly understand this, you will no longer torment yourself for not achieving what you want. Instead, you will live more peacefully, more gently, and be ready to embrace what life brings with gratitude and serenity. Instead of forcing things, open your heart, because what is truly meant for you will eventually find its way to you at the right time and in the way the universe has arranged. Part 2. The Law of Fate and Destiny. In this life, every person we meet, every event we go through is not a coincidence. Everything operates according to an invisible law that the ancients called fate and destiny. An old saying goes, if it is meant to be, even thousands of miles cannot keep two people apart. If it is not, even face to face they shall not meet. Fate is the invisible thread connecting each of us to life, to profound and necessary lessons we must go through. We may meet thousands of people in our lifetime, but why do only a few leave a deep mark? Why do some fleeting encounters impact and change our entire lives? That is the miraculous arrangement of the universe, which we often only recognize in hindsight. Some people come into our lives to teach us love, others to show us strength and growth, and some to help us learn that letting go is sometimes the most essential lesson of all. Fate does not only exist in relationships, but also in the things we choose to pursue or are forced to abandon. A dream once vital to us may not materialize, not because we didn't deserve it, but because it was never meant for our path. A golden opportunity might slip away and go to someone else. In those moments, we grieve and wonder why we are so unlucky, but perhaps all those events were part of a grand design of fate and destiny. What isn't meant for us, no matter how hard we chase it, is only an illusion. What is truly ours, even if far away, will eventually return. Fate and destiny flow like an invisible current, quietly guiding us through necessary paths for our growth. Some short encounters leave lifelong impressions. A random book we read, a stranger we meet, an unexpected upheaval, all seemingly random, yet in truth, they are precise arrangements from the universe, leading us exactly where we need to be. What we lose in the present may be preparing us for something better in the future. We see this clearly in many real-life stories. A woman who experienced 2 painful relationships and believed she would never find happiness finally meets the right man just when she stops searching and learns to accept life peacefully. The previous heartbreaks were essential fated lessons that taught her endurance, the art of letting go, and finally how to love properly, or the story of a farmer who lost his only horse. Neighbors lamented his misfortune, but the horse returned, bringing a herd of wild horses. When his son broke, his leg taming one, they grieved again, but it turned out that injury spared the boy from being drafted during wartime. What seemed like misfortune in the end was a blessed fate protecting the family from greater dangers. Understanding fate and destiny helps us live with gratitude and acceptance. We no longer cling to things not meant for us, no longer mourn those who leave, and no longer despair when opportunities slip away. Because we know everything happens for a reason, and what is truly meant for us will surely come. What isn't, we must let go gently, as perhaps the universe is preparing something far better. Part 3. Letting go for inner peace. In life, we are often taught that to achieve happiness and success, we must give our all, persistently holding on to what we love. We try to control everything, clinging tightly to the things we believe belong to us. But have you ever realized that the more you try to hold on, the more you end up losing? Life doesn't operate the way we want it to. The more we force it, the more exhausted and hurt we become. In truth, genuine happiness lies not in having everything we desire, but in our ability to let go of what no longer belongs to us. Letting go is a lesson that life teaches us in many different ways. Sometimes life places us in situations where we must release the person we love the most. We suffer, we struggle, and we see letting go as a failure, an irreplaceable loss. But over time, we come to understand that letting go is not about loss. It is about liberation, about making space for better things to enter our lives. Just like a handful of sand, the tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Only when you relax your grip can it rest gently in your palm. Life works the same way. Sometimes to hold on to what is truly precious, we must first learn how to let go. Letting go does not mean giving up or surrendering. It is a choice to free ourselves from pressure and pain. There are relationships we know can no longer continue, yet we stubbornly cling to them, only to deepen our wounds. In those moments, the best thing we can do is to learn to let go. We let go not because we are weak, but because we understand our own worth, knowing that we deserve peace and happiness. Letting go is a sign of strength and maturity, a mark that we've grasped the truth that life constantly evolves. When we let go, the first gift we receive is peace and lightness of spirit. The pain and scars we've long carried will gradually fade. Our hearts become as light as drifting clouds, for we no longer bear the burdens that no longer belong in our lives. That lightness helps us see more clearly the beautiful things the universe is arranging for us, things we couldn't notice before because we were too immersed in clinging and resistance. Moreover, when we learn to let go, we begin to live more fully in the present. We no longer look back on the past with regret or worry excessively about the future. Instead, we can truly savor every moment life gives us, grateful for the simple things around us, and in doing so, we begin to grasp the true meaning of life. Letting go is the path to genuine happiness, helping us live with an open, peaceful heart. Life will always continue bringing us new experiences, new opportunities, and new people. But to welcome them, we must first bravely release what no longer serves us. Remember, letting go is not losing, it's creating space for better things to enter. Life always follows its own rules, and what is meant for us will always find its way to us in the most unexpected and beautiful way. So rather than holding on to the past with sorrow, let us gently let go to find peace within and open ourselves to the wonderful gifts the universe is preparing for us. Part 4. Not a failure, but a protection. In life, we often view things that don't go our way as failures. When a valuable opportunity slips away, when a cherished dream suddenly collapses, or when someone we deeply love leaves us, our immediate reaction is often disappointment, heartbreak, and self-doubt. However, have you ever considered that what you lost, the chances that didn't work out, and the doors that closed may not have been failures at all, but silent acts of protection from the universe? When you face a closed door, you may blame fate and wonder why, despite all your efforts, you still couldn't walk through it. But have you ever asked yourself, was what lay behind that door truly the best path for you? Maybe the universe was silently shielding you, preventing you from entering a space filled with greater pain or disappointment. It's hard to accept such truths when we're in the midst of sorrow or perceived failure, but over time, we often come to realize that what we once called failure was actually a divine protection against even worse outcomes. We see this truth clearly in the story of Steve Jobs. He was once fired from the very company he founded, Apple. At that time, he must have felt bitter, hurt, and deeply defeated. Yet that seemingly cruel event launched a new era of creativity for him, leading to far greater achievements when he returned to Apple. Had he not endured that loss, he wouldn't have had the chance to reflect, grow, and come back as the visionary who revolutionized the tech world. This story shows us that what appears to be a setback may actually be the preparation for a more remarkable journey. Similarly, J.K. Rowling faced over a dozen rejections before her Harry Potter manuscript was accepted. At one point, she believed every door had closed and her writing career had ended before it even began. But those rejections were not failures. They were the universe's way of helping her build resilience and patience, until she finally found the right publisher who truly valued her work. Had she succeeded too early, perhaps she wouldn't have created a story that would touch the hearts of millions. These examples remind us that not all losses are failures, and not all disappointments mean we're not good enough. Sometimes it's in our lowest moments that we discover our inner strength and realize the universe is actually guiding us away from paths not meant for us. So instead of despairing when faced with failure, try to see it as a sign that something greater is being prepared for you. Don't conclude that your life is a failure just because you haven't achieved your desires yet. Perhaps the job you wanted wasn't for you because a better one lies ahead. Maybe the relationship you tried to hold on to had to end because someone more suitable is waiting for you. Trust in the universe's plan because when one door closes, another, more beautiful one is quietly being readied to open at the perfect moment. In this way, what we often call failure may, in fact, be life's way of protecting us, helping us avoid harm and guiding us towards something far more meaningful. Part 5. The universe's law of compensation. Life is always moving, turning in mysterious ways. Among them is a very special rule we often refer to as the universe's law of compensation. This law states that when the universe takes something from us, it is also preparing to give us something better, more suitable. Though we may not see it immediately, over time, we come to understand that what felt like a loss was actually paving the way for something more precious waiting just ahead. We often grieve when something we longed for slips away. We see the loss of a loved one or a missed opportunity as signs of failure or unfairness. But life is not simply a string of uninterrupted successes. Sometimes the universe must take a small opportunity from us in order to offer a much greater one. A dream that doesn't come true may not be because we were unworthy, but because the dream itself was too small compared to the potential the universe sees in us. What you lose today may become the foundation for something far greater tomorrow. The lives of many famous people reflect this law. Steve Jobs, for instance, was dismissed from the very company he created. At the time, it must have felt like his greatest failure. Yet that loss pushed him to explore new horizons, create new ventures, and ultimately return to Apple to lead it to even greater heights. That setback became the stepping stone to a legacy. Similarly, J.K. Rowling's story is another clear example. Before the global success of Harry Potter, she faced numerous rejections. She could have given up, thinking her dream was just an illusion. But those rejections helped her grow stronger, more resilient, and eventually led her to the right publisher who saw the value in her work. Without those early disappointments, the world might never have known Harry Potter, and Rowling might never have become the literary icon she is today. In our everyday lives, the same rule applies. When someone leaves you, it may not be a total loss. It might be the universe preparing a more compatible and wonderful person to enter your life. When a job you long for doesn't work out, it may be because something even more ideal is just around the corner. The key is to keep believing, stay patient, and be ready to receive the special gifts the universe is setting aside just for you. However, this law only works its magic when we accept it with an open heart. If we remain trapped in grief and regret, we won't have the clarity to recognize new opportunities as they arise. But if we learn to accept, to let go of what no longer belongs to us, we will begin to see more clearly the beautiful things life is quietly preparing to deliver. Life never takes everything from anyone, nor does it grant constant joy or success. Every loss has its own purpose, and every failure is part of a much larger plan. So instead of resenting fate, trust that each loss is the universe setting the stage for something far better. Don't rush into sadness. Hold on to your faith and patience, because the best things will always arrive, right on time. Part 6. Cause and Effect. Everything has its reason. In this life, nothing happens by accident. As the ancients said, sow melons reap melons, sow beans reap beans, meaning everything we experience today is the result of what we have previously planted. This is the immutable law of cause and effect, a law that governs the entire operation of the universe. Nothing happens to us by chance, and no outcome appears without a deeper reason behind it. Cause and effect is the most natural and fair principle in life. When you plant a seed, you cannot expect it to become a tree overnight. It requires time, care, patience, and even a process of enduring harsh external challenges. Likewise, every action, thought, and choice we make today is a seed we sow for our future. If we live with sincerity and kindness, even if the present is full of difficulty, good things will eventually come. Conversely, if we live irresponsibly, selfishly, or indifferently, sooner or later we will have to face the consequences of our own doing. There is an old tale about a young monk who was determined to pursue enlightenment from an early age. Every day, he diligently recited scriptures, but whenever faced with trials, he questioned why his hard work had not yet led to awakening. One day, his master took him to a stream and pointed to the stones worn smooth by rushing water. See, those stones? They are being shaped and polished by the flow. Without this test, they would remain rough forever. That monk later became Tangsanzang, who endured countless trials to fulfill his sacred mission. His struggles were not random. They were the karmic path needed to shape him into who he was destined to be. In everyday life, we often face disappointment, hurt, or failure. But remember, each of these has its own reason. Some people leave despite our deep love, not because we are unworthy, but because their lesson in our life is complete. Some opportunities disappear not due to our incompetence, but because a better one awaits. Every pain, stumble, or frustration is a way for life to train us to be stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Cause and effect is also a powerful reminder to live kindly and responsibly. We don't need to worry whether our good deeds will be rewarded. Rest assured, the law of cause and effect misses no one. Perhaps our good actions today won't bear fruit immediately, but with time and the right conditions, we will receive the rewards we deserve. Likewise, harmful actions, no matter how cleverly concealed, will eventually lead to consequences. So instead of lamenting what we must endure, remember that everything follows the law of cause and effect. Our joys and sorrows, successes and failures, today are the results of what we did in the past, and everything we do today, no matter how small, is shaping the future we will live in. When we truly understand this, we can live more peacefully, more mindfully, and more joyfully, because we know that everything in life has its purpose, and all things are guiding us toward becoming the best version of ourselves. Part 7. Good and Evil and the Law of Return. In life, the law of cause and effect operates quietly but with absolute fairness. As the old saying goes, good begets good, evil begets evil. Those who do good will inevitably receive good in return, while those who commit evil will eventually face consequences. Every action we take today will circle back to us in some form, often in ways we least expect. No good deed is ever wasted, and no harmful act ever goes unpaid. Kindness is not just about helping others in hopes of getting something in return. True kindness stems from sincerity, compassion, and a genuine heart. People who act with kindness, even without expecting rewards, are still repaid by the universe in meaningful ways. Perhaps you've heard the story of a farmer who shared his award-winning corn seeds with his neighbors. Though they were his competitors, he still gave them the best seeds. When asked why, he said that if his neighbors grew poor-quality corn, the pollen from their fields would affect his own. So, for his own crop to thrive, he needed his neighbors to also grow the best. This simple yet profound story perfectly illustrates how kindness returns to the giver. When we help others improve, we're also indirectly helping ourselves. Those small acts of goodness ripple back to us in unexpected ways. The farmer didn't calculate gain or loss. He simply did what he believed was right and ultimately received the best results. On the other hand, those who choose to live in selfishness or cruelty may enjoy short-term gains, but they cannot escape long-term consequences. People who hurt others, no matter how cleverly they hide it, will eventually have to face the repercussions of their actions. Justice may not arrive instantly, but it always arrives, and always at the right time. The return of good or evil is not always direct. Sometimes the universe finds strange and beautiful ways to repay us. You may help a stranger today, and tomorrow, a different stranger will help you through a difficult moment. You may endure hardship for doing the right thing now, but later, you meet someone who becomes a guiding light in your darkest hour. These aren't coincidences, they're the universe's way of ensuring balance and justice. Doing good doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or a small act of support. These seemingly minor actions plant seeds that blossom into beautiful outcomes over time. Real kindness doesn't need recognition, it is its own reward. It brings peace of mind, inner freedom, and a lasting sense of fulfillment that no one can take away. So no matter how the world may change, never stop being kind. Never hesitate to do good, and never fear that your kindness will go unnoticed. Trust that every good deed you perform is preparing something wonderful for your future. The universe sees all and always gives back exactly what you deserve. Part 8. Acceptance of the unchangeable. Life will never fully align with our expectations. On this vast journey, there are things entirely beyond our control, things we cannot change no matter how hard we try. In the face of such realities, we often feel powerless, heartbroken, and resentful of what seems to be life's unfairness. But is that truly the best way to face life's challenges? In truth, the only path to real inner peace lies in learning to accept the things we cannot change. Acceptance does not mean surrender or defeat. It is the profound understanding of life's impermanence. It is a sign of a mature soul, one that sees there are always elements in life that fall beyond our influence. The losses, the disappointments, the heartbreaks we endure are not meant to break us. They are here to teach us the most important lessons: humility, patience, and the strength to rise above adversity. There are times when we witness a cherished relationship gradually fade, someone we love suddenly leave, or a longed-for opportunity slam shut. Our instinct is often to hold on, to try to change reality at any cost. But the more we resist, the more we suffer. Eventually, we must accept that no matter what we do, some things cannot be held on to. This acceptance is not weakness, it is extraordinary strength. It gives us the resilience to weather any storm life may bring. There is a story about a young man who constantly lamented his fate. Born into poverty, no matter how hard he tried, he could not escape the cycle of hardship. One day, in despair, he sought the guidance of a Zen master. The master brought him to a riverbank and pointed to the smooth stones beneath the rushing water. "See how the water shapes them," he said. "These stones were once jagged, but through time and pressure, they have become smooth and bright. Without challenge, they would remain coarse forever." The young man finally realized that his hardships were not meant to punish him, but to shape and refine him. The adversities we face are not meant to defeat us. They are meant to forge our character and awaken our deepest potential. From the moment we stop complaining and start accepting, our lives truly begin to transform. We act more wisely. We no longer let what's beyond our control disturb our peace. Learning to accept is one of the most powerful tools to live a tranquil and fulfilled life. It doesn't mean giving up, but rather focusing on what we can control. With acceptance, our hearts grow lighter and freer. We stop blaming the world or torturing ourselves for things we cannot change. Instead, we begin to cherish each present moment with deep gratitude and mindfulness, recognizing that everything happens for a reason. Life always brings both sunshine and storms. No one can change the nature of this impermanence, but everyone can choose their attitude toward it. Remember, the greatest strength and growth arise from accepting with calm and grace the things we cannot change. It allows us to channel our energy toward what we can influence. Acceptance is not losing. It is the greatest triumph. It signals that we have become wise and resilient enough to rise above all challenges. When we learn to accept, we find peace and happiness in the midst of life's uncertainty, because we trust that everything is unfolding exactly as the universe intends. Part 9. Maintaining a kind heart. Amid the ups and downs of life, the most important thing for anyone seeking true peace is to maintain a kind heart. Kindness is not simply about doing good deeds. It is a way of living with sincerity, compassion, and empathy for those around us. Holding on to kindness might sometimes mean accepting disadvantages, but rest assured, the universe will always repay that goodness in the most meaningful way. Some may think that being kind is a sign of weakness, naivety, or vulnerability to exploitation. But in reality, kindness is the clearest sign of inner strength and clarity. It's not about letting others walk over you, but about making a conscious and courageous choice to be good in a world full of competition, judgment, and selfishness. Truly kind people are not blind to the world's darkness. They see it clearly, yet still choose to face life with an open and generous heart. Maintaining a kind heart doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's simply caring sincerely for those around us, helping when we see someone in need, offering a few comforting words, or a heartfelt smile at the right moment. These seemingly small actions can have profound impact, changing someone's day or even their life, and in turn changing ours. True kindness seeks no reward. Those who truly practice it understand that every good act has its own value, even when no one sees or acknowledges it. They do good simply because it is the right thing to do, knowing that each kind act is a seed they are planting for a better future. There is a well-known story about a farmer who always shared his best corn seeds with his neighbors. When asked why he would help those who were technically his competitors, he explained, if his neighbors planted poor quality corn, their crops would cross-pollinate with his, affecting his own harvest. Thus, to grow the best corn himself, he had to help others do the same. Through this story, we see that kindness and sharing not only help others, but ultimately benefit ourselves as well. Kind-hearted people may suffer temporary setbacks, but over time they earn genuine respect, love, and peace. They live with serenity and joy, feeling at ease within themselves. In contrast, those who rely on manipulation and selfishness might gain short-term success, but will eventually be plagued by inner turmoil and lasting unrest. The universe is always fair, and the law of cause and effect never overlooks anyone. Every action, good or bad, will be justly returned in due time. However, maintaining kindness doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of us. We must learn to protect ourselves and recognize the line between kindness and passivity. We help others, but we don't let anyone exploit our goodwill. We love others, but we never compromise our own worth or dignity. True kindness always goes hand in hand with wisdom, clarity, and strength, allowing us to help others while staying true to our values. So, no matter how the world may change, always keep your kind heart alive. Believe that every good deed you do today contributes to building a better future for yourself and for those around you. And trust that life is always fair. Those who live with love and compassion will always receive the most beautiful blessings the universe has in store.